Little Sally, I was never happy. I needed so much more. Rain clouds, oh, they used to chase me. Down they would pour. Join my tears. I lay my to me from heaven, Sally Cinnamon, you're my word.
You lucky people, welcome to today's episode of Big G, Little G podcast. I'm buzzing to announce that we're in Bede College. I'm even more excited to introduce our first special guest, is my mindful guru, coach and teacher, Joe Glancy from the Little Company of Calm. Little Company of Calm is based in Sunderland. It's a community interest company founded in January 2019. It's by three friends who've crafted a labour of love for mindfulness. We've got Joe Glancy, Liz McAvoy and Andrew Carton. Am I saying that right?
That's right, yeah.
I've met Liz in Backhouse Park when we were doing a bit of outdoor mindfulness. I don't think I've met Andrew ever.
I don't think you have yet.
I kind of looked at your website and different things, but it seems to be that your mission is to share the transformative benefits of mindfulness, making mindfulness accessible and affordable for everyone from beginners to advanced practitioners. There's a variety of things that you offer, provide interactive outdoor sessions, there's weekly group sessions, there's an 8-week structure course, which I want to ask you about. It's mindful-based cognitive therapy. There's online courses, so there's accessibility remotely if you've got that frantic lifestyle. There's one-to-one coaching sessions, meditation, yoga, retreats, and much more. You've got connections and collaborations in the community with the likes of Bat on the Map, Sunderland City Council, Ashbrook Yoga, but the list goes on and on. But I hope that wasn't too much of a long introduction.
Thanks, Liam. Yeah, no, not at all. It was good. It saved me having to remember everything as well, but which I wouldn't have done. So appreciate that. Yeah.
Yeah. Final introduction is you've met Gav. This is Little G, if you like.
We met briefly outside, but we didn't really talk. I think we wanted to be as natural as possible when we came into the studio. Lovely to meet you, Joe.
Hi, nice to meet you, Gav. Hi, cheers.
Well, look at these digs, boys.
Well,
this is good, isn't it?
I have to say, I'm super impressed. I've known Sally now from the college for about a year through a different project, and two of our students have been doing the work experience on my project, which we'll talk about either today or on another podcast. But Sally very kindly offered to let us use the studio here at Sunderland College at Bede, and I have to say, it's fantastic. The setup's brilliant.
We're Stone Roses fans, aren't we? So when Gav said to me, a girl called Sally, I'm like, it's got to be Sally Cinnamon, isn't it?
Well, there's the introduction song that we're going to have to put over the top of this then, isn't it?
But no, I'm absolutely blessed to be here. It's an unbelievable setup.
It's fantastic.
But yeah, well, let's make a start. Just obviously mindfulness. I'm an absolute beginner on this journey. I'm a bit infrequent with it. I have myself some mindful activities, but I've met Joe by chance, and I'm trying to channel that mindfulness just through. Call it meditation?
Yeah. Some meditation and sort of talking around it a bit as well and trying to fit it into your life and one or two things, yeah.
But no, I'm really enjoying it. I would like to be a bit more consistent with it, but I am literally entry level, and I feel like every time I do a little bit of meditation, it's something a little bit different, gives us a bit of peace, gives us a bit of clarity. There's times where it's gives us energy. And I would like to be able to tap into that without the activity. I've got my acoustic guitar. I do a bit of art with my daughter.
Yeah.
Those kind of things where you're just in the moment, in the mindful moment. But this is without that vehicle, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, I would say there's, if you like, we can say the activities, mindfulness activities, put them into two categories: formal and informal. And the formal is probably what you're getting at, like the regular sitting meditation, and people think of as meditation, sitting and observing your breath or sounds or different focuses, which is great. And that gets you into the discipline of everyday practice. And when you get your practice every day, it means that you're more likely to notice the benefits when you try and bring it into day-to-day life. But the other side is what you're talking about, I think, Liam, is informal practice, where, you're out in nature, or you're going for a nice walk, or you're at the seaside and you just take a few moments to observe the waves, or you're playing your guitar. I mean, that's pretty mindful activity, potentially, So, but it balances out. It's not like one over the other. I think both are really important to fit into your life.
Yeah, because when I first met you, I was like, I didn't have a clue what I was talking about, and I was saying we've made an effort to sit at the kitchen table and be mindfully eat, not have the telly on, no tablets, no distractions. So I kind of took a shot in the dark, and you were like, "Yes, that's very mindful," and I was like, "Oh, phew."
No,
sounds
honestly,
like he's gonna accept us into his cult now.
No, well, yes, you're in. But no, it's actually in all the various courses. One of the first things you do is a little mindfulness eating aspect, because we eat every day, and so it's like a great opportunity to see how you eat. Most of us, really rapid and quick and on to the next thing, and don't notice anything about what we've eaten. Or do you want to just take a few moments? It's not possible for every single meal, but every now and then, as you say, sit down, and makes it easier as well. And with other people, it's going to be quite good fun, that I would imagine. Yeah.
So, how would you, for question number one, how would you describe mindfulness to someone that has no clue?
Well, mindfulness is present moment awareness with anything that you do. So now, as I'm talking to you, normally I tend to rush my words and I speak quick, especially when I'm feeling a bit nervous or enthusiastic or something. But when I just slow my words down, that's bringing mindfulness. I've got awareness and also listening as well when somebody else is talking. Rather than thinking what you were going to interject in the conversation, it's really giving them some space. So it's present moment awareness. And the other thing that's just as important, really, it's non-judgmental. So that when your mind does wander, and it will, anybody who's ever attempted to meditate, you're going to meditate. That isn't getting it wrong, and it's not just a cliche, because no, it's absolutely how our minds operate. It's just the reality of it. So your mind's there and in the future planning, or you're dwelling on something you did this morning or you didn't do, or what have I got to do later? Yeah. So it wanders, and then you bring back, but it's how you come back. It's with kindness. And that's the non-judgmental part. So you come back with gentleness instead of saying, "Oh, for God's sake, Joe, how am I? Get yourself into gear." You notice, and you come back and say, "Oh yeah, I was wondering, but I'm back again."
Yeah.
So
there's a couple of things Joe's put on there. We've had a couple of coaching sessions, and there's a couple of recordings that you give us via WhatsApp, and that's stuck with us. Just not to have the high expectations of like, "Oh, I'm not getting this right." Oh, I've drifted off. Just recenter, come back to it, and that's always stuck with us. It's the nature of the beast, the mind, isn't it? It's like there's so many things that you've got to have that kindness to go, what you're doing is it's not a perfect machine we're operating here. We've just got to work with the machine. But yeah, Gav, what about yourself?
Well, I mean, personally, I find it difficult to find the time. I know that sounds ridiculous. I mean, I run 3 businesses. I've got a part-time job during the day. I was talking to you about this, Liam, off mic a couple of weeks ago. I took a part-time job on recently just to get away from the computer for 2 days, which was causing me, obviously, physically, you get headaches, you get like focus issues and all that sort of thing. And I found that just by getting out of the house and being outdoors for a couple of hours a day really helped. In terms of actual meditation, or finding that time to sit and have a time or a space where I can be on my own, maybe it's even for 5 minutes a day, I find that super difficult with my current lifestyle. It's something I do want to do. I do want to try it because I think it would be hugely helpful. I've seen how much it's benefited Liam since we got back and start talking again. And I'd quite like to try and go down that route and see how it would benefit me, really. But as I said at the start, I find it difficult to find that time.
Yeah. Well, that's quite used. It's quite a classic one, really. And I think it's like you say, 5 minutes. It sounds dead easy. You go, oh, you can have slot 5 minutes, but it isn't. It's not easy. It's a simple practice, because really you sit and just observe your breath, bring it to one particular focus, like your heartbeat or like the in breath or something like that, and then observe like how often your mind goes elsewhere. And even if you did that for, a few breaths to start with, people say like, can you? These are like years and years of people with years and years of practice. Can you keep your attention for 2 or 3 breaths, deep breaths, longer breaths? And if you do that, it's pretty decent,
Right.
and it gives you a bit of, right, so not so bad really, and can I maintain it? And then you think, oh, there might be something in this, that's how I got into it.
Yeah, I think my focus, I tend to get my focus together at the end of the day, and it's not really about myself. I think when I've got a focus, my focus is about what I've done during the day in terms of work or business or decisions I've made or decisions I need to make. And that's what I tend to think about at night. And I think especially in the last few years since I've been self-employed, that's really affected my sleep, or not necessarily the length of sleep, but the quality of sleep. Because when I'm drifting off thinking about things that I've been thinking about all day and not taking that 2 or 3 minutes to sort of observe my own personal thoughts of how I'm feeling, that's had a big effect on me personally over the last few years. I've not suffered really as a result of it, and I've got the same anxieties and the same problems as everybody else. How you're going to pay the bills and how you're going to do this. But I think I'm really conscious that I need to take that time for me and focus on me rather than focus on what's gone.
Yeah, and it's a big step, saying right. And often, we've delivered the courses over the years, and it's often like an event or something, some difficulty in the person's life before they say, right, I'm going to maybe have to do something about it now. Or they maybe observe somebody else, or there's something anyway that tips the balance, say, right, okay, I'll give it a whirl. And I think, well, for me, it was sleep, I don't know if it's all right to talk.
Yeah, go for
it. Is that okay? Yeah, so it was probably the main reason why I started with sort of very poor sleep patterns, and it was 14, 15 years ago. And by then I won't say exactly how old I was, but I was, I was no spring chicken then, to be honest. But I thought that was me. It's the way I've got to live my life. Some people aren't born to sleep well. But this thing, I got the book out of the library called Finding Peace in a Frantic World by Danny Penman and Mark Williams. And it's like, whoa, this is something in this. And then I got into it, and it was like, to help me sleep, because, my sleep was terrible. And it's not that I have perfect sleep now. It's not like I can go down, have 8 or 9 hours every night. A chance would be a fine thing. But I get on a regular basis, I would say, sort of 6 or 7.5 hours.
Yeah.
And that's okay. I mean, I'd love to get a bit more. Like when you're on holiday, you sleep more.
Yeah.
But in a general basis, unless there's something particular, then my sleep is halfway decent. So that's what got me into it initially, and some anxiety as well.
And I think that's the takeaway point as well. I was going to speak about this a little bit later on, but it's backed by science, isn't it? It reduces your cortisol levels, bring you down from adrenaline levels at a quicker rate, releases endorphins and serotonin. So it's like I'm by no means a hippie or a spiritual person, or not even a religious, in all fairness, but I always tell people that. I always say I'm not a spiritual person. So I don't know if on an unconscious level, maybe I'm wearing a mask, but no, I just put it out there because if you like the science side of stuff, there's facts behind the physical, physiological benefits.
There's some great studies. Like, for instance, they did a study. It's about at least 20 years ago now, but it was people who've done this MBSR, which is very similar to the MBCT, mindfulness-based cognitive therapy you mentioned. mindfulness-based stress reduction was the initial one, and they did like a control group and the people who didn't done the course. And the people who done the course, they had when they gave them a flu jab, and there was a 5% increase on its effectiveness on fighting the antibodies.
Right.
So that was, it's not like massive, but it's something, isn't it?
Oh, no.
And there was a couple of other things came out about it. And I, like you, I like when you hear, like, for instance, the prefrontal cortex, but the left side of the prefrontal, and I'm not a scientist, right? So I have to research these things myself. But the left side of the prefrontal cortex is more activated, which is the benevolent one for well-being. And it's the right side, which is linked with the negative emotions, and that's deactivated. So it's
Fascinating.
I know it's through neuroplasticity, which mindfulness meditation helps you with. One of the ways to help you with. And yeah, I know it is, especially when I haven't even got a CSE, which was in chemistry, CSE in chemistry, and that was it. My science. What's that?
CSE.
Yeah.
Well, if you think about a GCSE, as we called it,
Yeah, well, it was GCSE, but it was O levels. Yeah, it was O levels before it was GCSE, and it was the CSE. Was the part of it.
Well, I was saying to Gav on the way, and obviously slightly off what you're saying, but it is fascinating. Like, I'm dog walking at the moment, getting me vitamin D, and I love that side of it. I love the fact that what can I do? I don't have to put a lot of effort into physically change how my body feels. I was doing some box breathing the other night. Not quite new and that sort of stuff, but yeah, it's definitely helps me like cultivate a sense of clarity and calmness. I need to get consistent with it because I know it's like it's like going to the gym. I'll be out in the garden. I was out in the garden the other day, and I was I put my beats in, and we've got like a shared fence, and my little girl's got a friend who climbs the fence, and she goes, "It's KV in," so I'm in the middle of just trying to chill out, and but no, it's something I want to integrate. Like it's definitely the way forward. I mean, on that note, is the core beliefs or core values to
not beliefs, and so you touched on the sort of spirituality. So it's not a religion, so it's a practice. It comes from Buddhism. Mindfulness comes from Buddhism initially, but it's not just restricted to Buddhism. Other religions take certain aspects of it on board. But the thing about it is it's a practice. You don't have to believe any particular systems. But there are values in terms of, I think the easiest way to describe it is it's in terms of suffering and difficulty in life and struggle with life. It's like aiming to reduce suffering and promote well-being. In a nutshell, that's what it is. So it's not neutral. We're not just doing meditation so we can have clear-eyed focus on one thing at a time, although that is part of it. But it's not neutral. It's so we can, help ourselves initially, like you said, help ourselves to be kind to ourselves. So I allow myself to mind wander sometimes before I bring it back. Say, it's all right, mate, it's all right, Joe, sort of thing. And so it promotes that and it lessens suffering, just to make it better for ourselves and also the people we're with, the people we live and work and play with. Not
an effect. If I'm a better version of myself, you just creating that energy, the next person's going to be a better version of myself, and it's a domino effect. And then before you know it, it's hit the community. With the community in mind, I was going to ask you because I know you're trying to get this the mindfulness into schools. You can in St Mary's at the moment. We were just chatting just before we went on there, and we've had a couple of chats about this, but getting it in at the grassroots, so it's a bit more familiar and it's less of a stranger to people later on in life, which I think is great. But touching on that, do you think that would help increase the male representation in mindfulness? Because it seems to be a lot of females.
Yeah, absolutely, Liam. And I think that's something we find constantly all the way through. The majority of the people who are coming the courses, to the nature events outside, even and also the drop-ins, the weekly events. I would say the majority, if not the vast majority, are female, which is a bit of, I don't know. I honestly don't know why, but that's the way it is, and it does take. It takes some push, really, I think, to encourage fellas to come along as well, just to try it. The ones who do tend to stick with it, tend to sort of remain with it, and it becomes part of what they do in their lives and the discipline of that on a regular basis. But yeah, I think the schools, it's a really good point that by planting the seeds, the kids at school, then they're much more likely to have an open mind to it, and what they are doing at St Mary's is Qigong, it's mindful movement specifically, but so you can do mindfulness and bring in awareness to movement as well as sitting meditating. So I think with a lot of people find it easier to bring their awareness to when they're making moves. There's something more definite to bring your focus to, and a lot of people struggle initially sitting in a chair for 15, 20, 25 minutes. Again, this has come through hard experience, really, where people say, "Oh no, I just couldn't. I was so fidgety," or "No, I just." Whereas if they start with some movement initially, like Qigong, then they can go on and do a little bit of sitting as well. So that's what we're doing at St Mary's. Qigong.
Yeah. Just jumping back a little bit from what you said earlier about the female dominance in that sort of thing, and obviously there's, I think that you've absolutely got the right, in my opinion, you've got the absolute right idea by going into schools, because children are like sponges, and I think they learn something from a young age, and if they find it beneficial or they enjoy it, they tend to stick with it. Do you think there's still that sort of stigmatism around this side of things, much like the men's mental health that Liam and I chatted about last time, where men think, well, I don't want to go and talk to anybody because I'm stronger than that, or I'm better than that, or I don't want people to think I'm weak or I'm failing? Do you think that sort of stigma is attached to the mindfulness side of things as well?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, definitely. The people have an idea or a perception. This is the way it is. This is the way it should be. And even if they try it, say, "Oh, I just can't do it. It's not for me." And like, if you're the only guy in the room, sort of thing, you also feel a bit self-conscious, maybe as well. So there's all that. Definitely. But I think also that the vulnerability is an important point, because the last thing what anybody wants to do is go around and say, "Yeah, I've got sort of weak tendencies." It's not something, and it's not like you want to go shouting about it. But on the other hand, to acknowledge it and say every single human being on the planet has weak aspects to them, including me. And
I mean, the main poison in the well is that men. I mean, the message is hopefully changing and things like that, but we're not encouraged, but we're kind of, showing yourself as being vulnerable or fearful and things like that, or anxious. We find it easier to get angry. Seems to be more socially acceptable to get angry and channel it that way. So there is a little bit of that, but I totally resonate with what you're saying there in terms of like putting yourself out there. It's almost like what does the Buddha say? Expectations the root of all disappointment. So sometimes you kind of you're expecting what it might be, and then you're like, "Oh, what am I doing it? Or what am I doing? Shall I stop this?" And it's like, rather than just having an expectation of where something might go, just the irony is to live in the moment, isn't it? To actually, well, just let it be. Let this be what it is. When we made a connection, I kind of came into the room with little expectation. I thought I knew what it was. I thought it was just the activity. You just do the activity and you get that flow of like just being 100% present. And runners would call it a runner's high. There's loads of different names for it, but it's kind of like that's it's a sweet spot. It's like the flow zone. And I was like, well, if I can tap into that without the guitar, that's what I would like to do. And I said to you, probably shouldn't really broadcast this, but it's a drug, isn't it? That doesn't have any negative effects.
It's definitely a way of thinking of it. It's like, you're right, it's a natural high, and I think we don't do this to train ourselves to endure it. There's enjoyment in it.
Yeah.
So sometimes see people who do say a lot of retreats or been doing it for years even, and they think it's about getting the concentration harder, and like to do it longer and better and longer. And I think that can be missing the point. I think if there wasn't some sort of enjoyment somewhere along the line, you just wouldn't get back on the cushion and do the practice, you know. It's a bit like, say, you're at the gym or running. If you weren't getting some kind of, even if it's just after a run when you've like relieved and you think, thank God that's over, you know, then you know there's some benefit there. And it's the same with like it's always, and often people say it's when they say they breathe out. If you breathe out a bit longer than you've been breathing in, that's always, it's quite relaxing and calming. Or, you know, or the feel. For me, when I get tension, like mental stress, it always reflects in my face. Unfortunately, my facial muscles will tighten. Yeah. So that's my go-to. Like if I'm stressed and I remember and I feel my heartbeat, then I go feel my face and I just like soften with a few breaths, soften my facial muscles and go, yeah, actually, it's not so bad. You know, and then the situation isn't so bad either. It's more my relation, how I'm relating to the situation rather than the situation itself.
On that note, your 1 day retreat, I want to ask you about this because we spoke about this a little while back when we met, and you were saying like it was a silent retreat, and the little childish pilot in my mind was like, oh, I would just be pulling faces at people, mate, or just like after. I would like to think I would settle into it, but initially I'd be like giving people cheesy looks, you know.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, well.
But you know, you were saying like it was like a communal situation where you were putting plates and stuff away.
That's right.
Were you all cooking together and things like
that?
Yeah.
So residential was down in Devon, and as a mindfulness teacher, you should really do a retreat every year. You know, so the last one was in March, and it was 5 days down in Colguy House in. Anyway, it's near Plymouth, where my son lives actually. So I went to visit him after. But yes, we had 5 days, and you had your chore every morning. So, but all in silence. So you're in different teams doing different things. So you were I was on the washing up the dishes sort of team, you know. There's about 80 people staying there. So there's plenty of dishes and pots and pans and big steel containers so it's, you know, it was a little bit of graft going on in there, but you could funny enough, you could smile and like point to you don't say the words, but you point, and so it is a good laugh, but then you learn, you get used to that. So that was one of the things. And then like at the meals, people say, I could never do that, but you sit down and eventually it just becomes more the norm, really. And it's actually a bit easier because all these people you don't know, you know, there's 60, 70 people or something, whatever it is, that you don't know. And like rather than thinking, oh God, I've got to think of who I am, like what am I going to say here? I just you relax and you eat your meal, and then you're more mindful about the eating. And but it is, I've got to say, it is a different way of being with other people than we normally have. So I understand. I understand.
Well, I know Anthony Joshua, the boxer. He went to a dark retreat. It was for several days, and you're literally in complete darkness.
Right.
Which sounds really bizarre, but the absence of being able to speak to someone, what do you think that encourages in that situation? Is it just...
Yeah, well, we even do this is a really interesting thing. We even do this on one of the courses, the MBSR, where one of the sessions is about mindfulness communication. And I tell you what, I can't remember, I think maybe week 6, but anyway, it's later on in the course. And like you're in pairs, and one's seat's looking that way, and the other, so you can't even see the person's facial expression. Yeah. But you have to have. We ring the bells, and then after 3 minutes, you ring the bells. So if the first person talks, the second person listens but can't interject, and then you swap round, and then after that, you have a minute summarising what the other person said, and vice versa. Yes. And everybody thinks that's a weird thing, but once you've done it a few times, it's actually, you know what mindful listening is, because in a sense, it doesn't really matter what you were coming back with. Have you listened or not? And that kind of forces you in a way, even without, and everybody says it's really hard because normally we're following people's, if we're lucky enough to be able, to follow facial expressions to get people's clues and contexts and things like that. But when you can't say anything, just hear words, it just makes you, I suppose, focus and be in the moment with what they're saying, and then.
As I was going to say, it helps bring that focus in, doesn't it? I suppose naturally, because you mentioned earlier on, often when you're talking to somebody in a normal conversation, you probably only listen on about 50% of the time, because the other 50% you're trying to think what your response is going to be, or what.
Yeah.
And so I suppose only having one person speak at the time, I can say how that would be beneficial in training your brain to sort of just shut up and listen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we all do it. I do it. Like going home to talk to Helen, my wife. And how there's something I want to interject. There's something really important, and I'll let her talk for a while. I don't want to go too far down the line with this, but I'm not fully concentrating all the time on every word she says. Yeah. But I don't blame myself for that. I think that's quite normal with friends as well, and with your relatives and whatnot, your mates. You listen to a certain extent, maybe 50%, and part of your brain is thinking, right, yeah, this is great, but also what I want to bring in, and that it's not to stop that, because that's great, isn't it? It's great fun having normal, natural bantering, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
But there's also a place for more mindful listening and speaking as well as that, not instead of.
Well, personally, I don't really have much of an option but to mindfully listen in my house, because if one's not talking, the other one is, and sometimes both at the same time. So I'll probably listen about 80% of the time and talk 20%, and even when I talk me 20%, I still don't bloody listen. So,
well, do you know what it is? I wish I could meet my wife's listening needs. Like I've told her, I'm glad she's got friends, because I just can't. My attention deficit is unbelievable. I says, look, I'm really glad that you've got friends that you can confide in, because you're getting 60% out of me. We've been together 14 years. She's accepted it, and we've moved on.
Well, I mean, I must admit that tends to be the dynamic in my house, really. I think she probably knows I'm not listening a lot of the time, and it's not because I don't want to. It's because, as I said earlier on, sometimes it's difficult to focus on something else when you've got another 3 or 4 tasks in hand that you find quite important. But hey,
you know, it's a perfect storm with me and our lass, on a serious note. So she's got a load of patience to ask me the question several times. So I've it's a gold mine, really. If she didn't have that, we wouldn't have survived, because I'll be like, what's the date again? What's the time again? But in normal conversations, you are kind of this. It's the distraction. You mentioned the name of the book that you promoted. For me, it's Distraction in a Frantic.
Finding peace in a frantic world.
And it is that distraction, isn't it? You've got your device. You've got your family commitments, you're making tea, your device is pinging, you're thinking about what you're sorting out tomorrow, all that kind of stuff is going all at once. Yeah. I mean, I remember there's a TED talk with this guy, unhelpfully I'm forgetting his name, but he's talking about stress management and anger management and stuff, and he's saying there was some sort of scientist years ago who kind of conducted that. We take in a million pieces of information a day, something along those lines. Yeah. And he was saying, but we can only retain sort of like 6% of it, and it's like, and then he gave this analogy of that's the equivalent of summing up your week in 10 seconds. So like the amount of information that we miss because of all the things that are going on, conscious and unconscious. Like there is naturally loads of distractions, isn't there?
Too right. I know it's
more so now than ever.
Oh, crikey! Yeah, I totally agree. So mindfulness is a way of, it's not like we're going to stop me or anybody else being on your phone, but it's a way of, like getting a percentage of the time, or even just moments of the day when you say, hang on a minute, and you really just slow down. There's a lot of this is slowing down.
Yeah.
Because we're doing different jobs or doing all sorts of things in our lives going on, and we just don't think it's possible. No, if I don't do this, then that's going to happen. And but hang on, you do really, really need, all of us need to slow down a little bit.
Well, I think it's a good matter. I think something somebody said to me not so long since actually was, make time for wellness or make time for illness. And I think sometimes you think wellness can take a back seat until you've done this, or until you finish that task or finish this project or whatever it may be. And I think more so than ever nowadays, it's got to be promoted more. I think it's got to be spoken about more. I think people have to be aware that it's acceptable to sit and think and sit and look after yourself, not just physically, but in your head. So that stuck with me over the last couple of months, the make time for wellness or make time for illness. And I suppose it's a kick up the backside for me to actually have to do that, you know. Even if it means getting up an extra hour earlier in the morning when the house is quiet, for example, or staying up an extra hour after everybody's gone to bed when the house is quiet, whatever helps, or however you need to find that space or that quiet space is probably quite important.
And it does promote self-awareness. So when you're chatting there, as much as I'm listening, you know yourself pretty well there, don't you?
Yeah.
So I know I'm just an unreasonable person if I don't get enough sleep. Mm-hmm. Like, I'm the type of person who tells 50 people the next day, I've only had 4 hours, you know.
Yeah.
I'm one of those people. So my wife can just get up, bounce off the, I mean, don't get us wrong, she's not like a machine or anything, but super important for me. Like, I need me sleep.
Need that sleep.
I know when if it goes past 10:30, I start getting a nosebleed, and I know that I'm not going to win the morning.
That's another thing, though, isn't it? I think
you know?
if you get yourself into bed and you get yourself comfortable, and you're still thinking about what's happened during the day, and then eventually, or sometimes you're conscious that, God, it's midnight and I'm not asleep yet. I've lost another 2 hours, and then 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm still not asleep. So you're anxious that you're not getting enough sleep, and because you're anxious you're not getting enough sleep, you can't get to sleep. So that's another thing, you know. Is do you find, or do you have a particular routine on an evening to get you into that frame of mind for rest?
Yeah, I have, but I think it's the two things, and one of them is what you've just said there, Gav. That it's like it can be the worry about not getting enough sleep rather than what you. So it's the two things. So I think, you know, the classic ones that people are aware of: not too much on your phone just before you go to sleep. Do you know?
Blue lights.
Yeah, the blue lights. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
that's a classic one. But I'll tell you what, another one, a good tip that I often forget myself, and that's going for a 5 or 10 minute walk outside. There's something about that I find very helpful indeed. Doesn't even have to be meditating. It's just going for a 5 or 10 minute walk. I don't know what it is, but I do. When I remember, then that always helps. But I think it's when you really accept. So, for instance, you have a terrible night and you're exhausted and you think all these things you've got to do. I've got to grind my way through the day. Mm. And indeed, there will be moments of exhaustion. But I'll tell you what, out of the next however many hours in the day, you will also have moments when you forget about that and you'll be really engrossed in what you're doing, and there'll be some great stuff going on as well. And you'll kind of forget that you're supposed to be tired in a way, in a weird way, you know. So that allowing yourself to have poor sleep is part. It's like acceptance, really, I suppose, isn't it? You say, well, there are going to be some days when I'm going to have a lousy sleep, but if I can let myself do that, you know, and maybe if I just physically can't get to sleep, well, I'll read or something, or listen to a podcast, you know. So
like this one.
Listening to you a podcast.
Unbelievable. Subtle plug there, Joe.
Was that not too? No, genuinely, because I'm interested in what you are doing, and I will definitely be listening. And but something that's calm, obviously calming, and I mean it's classic, you know. After I said I had a poor night a couple of weeks ago, and it was because I'd been listening to the footy podcasts during the night, you know, like all the Wembley stuff going on. Well, of course, I'm not going to get straight back to sleep.
Well, it goes back to those chemicals. So you kind of you get those. You might get a little bit of cortisol. I mean, I don't know why you'd be, but yeah, you'll get those kind of you'll get your dopamine hits. So your happy chemicals, or you're motivating chemicals because you're making an effort to listen, and then it re-engages you the body-mind connection. Like I've got a friend who's a friend of a friend who's a sleep therapist, and he was always saying, look, after 20 minutes, 25 minutes, if you can't get to sleep and it's bugging you, do something. A bit like go for a walk. Do a puzzle. Write something down. all these kind of things. But yeah, he's a fascinating guy. We should try and get him on here. But sleep hygiene's really, really important for me. Some people are just built like, robots, and then they can just do it. But I tell the world the next year, I'm like, we walking the dog, I'm like, morning, I've only had 4 hours, me,
That's your first thing these.
I tend to like really over yawn when my wife comes downstairs. Oh, I'm so tired. Yeah, I'm so and tell. Yeah, I've heard you've been up since 4 o'clock in the morning, and that's another thing I think as well with not necessarily poor quality sleep, but short sleeps. And I found that since I've started to do this extra couple of hours a day working for somebody else, other than what I'm doing for my own things, I find I'm sleeping a lot better because I've took 2 hours out of my day. I'm still working and I'm still running around, and I mean, it's actually at a school, so it's with young children, which is a job similar to a job I did before in a previous life. But having that, having a bit of banter with some of the kids, or engaging them in a game, something I'm not doing at home. So I'm not thinking about, I've got to fill in this project plan, or I've got to complete this spreadsheet, or I've got to do this report. I find has really helped my sleep. I mean, physically as well, when you're running around with kids, it's physically quite exhausting. So there is that element, but definitely in terms of taking my mind off what was my normal working day for 4 years, and having them 2 hours is massively beneficial, personally, I find.
I bet it is. And I think what you've said there sort of describes absorption, because there's these 7 factors of awake, and I don't want to get too much down into this.
I love this, and I'm not going to lie, I'm forgetting them, but I'd like you're about to tell us again, aren't you?
Yeah, I can do. But
Absolutely, fire away.
Well, there's 7 factors of awakening, and there's loads and loads of lists, so I'm not going to go through all the lists.
He's like a Jedi, isn't he?
Well, there's 7 factors of awakening. So the first one's mindfulness. So you'd expect, I'm going to say that, but it's mindfulness. So your present moment awareness. The next one is, the next 3 are activating, so they're more energizing. So there's interest, curiosity. So you're bringing some energy through being interested in an activity. The next one is energy, and sometimes you have to brighten the energy. Sometimes you have to calm the energy, but it's activating. And then the good news is the next one is joy. So enjoying, that you've mentioned already. And then when you've got the joy and it calms down a bit, that tips over to the calming. The next one is tranquility or calm. And then the next one, which is what made us think of that, Gav, is it's called concentration, but it doesn't translate very well. It's more gatheredness, collectedness in one thing at a time. So you're just totally wrapped up in something in a good way, And
right.
Yeah, it's there's nothing else. This is all I've got room for in my bandwidth of concentration here, because I'm so absorbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, that side of things. And then finally, just to finish up, the last one is equanimity, if I can say it, or balance. So it's when you get to the top of the mountain and this perspective. You've done your hike, you get to the top of the mountain, you put your cushions down, you get your flask out, and then you survey everything in front of you, the valley and the river, the other mountains and the people, little dots of the people. Or it's a bit like being in the plane and you think, you're flying over a country and all these people living their lives, and you think, it's just you in space. And no matter what comes along, no matter what storm or stressor or anxiety, no matter what it is, you say, well, I'm here, I'm okay, I'm doing as best as I can.
Yeah.
Bring it on, sort of thing, So those are a whistle stop tour through the.
That's brilliant. I can listen to that all day, mate.
Yeah.
I like that. In terms of your plans for the future, I know we do a one-on-one coaching session.
Mm-hmm.
I'm cautious, probably just out of respect and not overstepping the mark, but I'm cautious of not recommending it to Tom, Dick, and Harry. But I recommended it to my friend Lisa, who's interested in it. And so, what's the situation there? You've got funding to do that?
Yeah, we have for mindfulness coaching. It's the one you mean?
Yes.
Yeah, the mindfulness coaching. We've got funding. I mean, it's not limitless. So there's a certain amount of numbers, but we're okay. We're in the position where we can take people on, definitely. but we couldn't like sort of take dozens and dozens.
Yeah.
So so there are spaces definitely, and what it is a way of like giving somebody on a one-on-one basis where the chance, well, how might I fit it in, or why would I want to do that, or that sort of thing, and I suppose I just bring, because I've been doing it for 14 years, so I'd say what works or what doesn't work, and I'm still learning myself and always will be, I think. So I try and make them as friendly and
Yeah.
relaxed. Hopefully,
And I felt it was, I mean, it was just my experience, but I felt it was like a therapeutic side of it. When we kind of did the spider chart, and you had a good grasp of where I was at, didn't you?
oh, cheers, thank you. Well, yeah, I like that mind mapping thing.
'Cause I'm quite curious.
yeah.
Quite curious. Quite open-minded to it.
Yeah.
I'm not judgmental of myself. If I'm not getting the breathing right, or I'm not getting the kind of the movement right. And I feel like you summed us up really well. Like, so I took a lot away from that. Obviously, it was a bit of a, I'm not going to it, but there was a bit of a transition in my life at the time from the first and second session, and I was just like, I just feel like we had that rapport, and it was really beneficial. Like, I came in, like, we finished on a bit of meditation, but initially we were just chewing the fat, and I just felt that coaching aspect of it was really, really helpful. I really enjoyed it. Like, it had that therapy feel to it.
Oh, thanks. Really appreciate
Yeah.
that. That's really nice to hear.
But obviously you've got a few other things going on in terms of, I'm just looking at the time there, but in terms of the yoga, does that integrate well with mindfulness?
Yeah, it does. It does. It integrates really well. We've got a Friday afternoon session, and Liz, that's one of the three. Liz McElvoy, she does mindfulness with a yoga teacher called Elaine Smith up at St. Michael's.
Right.
And so they do the yoga, and they do some qigong, and they do the mindfulness as well. And so it's what I said before, that sort of movement and doing a bit of stretching and whatnot sometimes has the effect of settling you down and slowing down your body and your mind before you get into a bit of meditation. So that's kind of ongoing. It's every Friday at 12:30 at St. Michael's. Yeah.
Brilliant.
Sounds like it could be a good alternative for maybe for people out there, men and women, who maybe don't like the traditional sitting in the circle and talking about your feelings type of thing. If it's something that it's going to give them a similar sort of benefit physically and mentally, but doing it for themselves, and rather than maybe, some people don't really want to share necessarily. Whereas if you've got that focus, or you're learning about getting the focus, as you mentioned, Liam, and the physical aspect of it as well, that could be a really nice alternative for some people who don't necessarily want to attend the traditional workshop type things.
Yeah, totally. I totally get that, because I think a lot of people are put off that they think they are going to have to come along and unburden themselves, and talk about feeling straight away, but it isn't really like that. We do have parts of the session where, like I do my Thursday class again at St. Michael's at Stannington Grove, and we always have 10-15 minutes, and then we'll just chat about what we've been doing in the practices, and maybe during the week, and one or two people talk about that. But it's totally optional, and you would only do that when you felt comfortable. But you're right. Often it's a good way in when people are starting and they're sort of a bit worried about not wanting to display their emotions too much, and then to start with some stretching, some kind of slow, nice and easy exercises. Then that can settle you down and slow your heartbeat and everything.
So on that, the 8-week structured mindful-based cognitive therapy.
Mm-hmm.
What's that about? How would you get involved in that?
Yeah, well, we've got it's the MBSR, that 8-week program, very similar to the MBCT. It's starting in October, and I think that's probably our most intensive thing that we do, probably the most serious that we do. And it's 8 weeks over 8 sessions over 9 weeks, and you also get a half-day retreat on the Saturday morning, and in the 2.25 hours. So whereas it's kind of the Cheers, Liam. It's the other extreme, if you like, to because I do the streams of calm as well on the Facebook live group, which is 15, 20 minutes, and you mainly nobody's watching it live hardly, but occasionally you get a few, but it's mainly people watching the recordings to fit them in whenever they can. So that it's really nice and it's every week. But that's one side of it. So you're sort of dipping into it a little bit to try things out. And this one is where you say, right, I'm going to commit, sort of 2.5 months. And it's that once, what we've found is, because we've done 10 of these already, that once people have made the decision to do it, then they don't miss sessions.
Yeah.
We've done plenty of other courses where people, classically would be there 60, 70, 80%, which isn't too bad, but they miss a couple of sessions.
Yeah.
Whereas they don't tend, unless there's something, urgent, so you can't avoid, they don't tend to miss sessions because they've cleared, not only physically cleared the diary, but psychologically they've said, no, this is my space.
Yeah.
If it might not work at all, but I'm going to definitely give myself a chance here. And that's right. Pretty heavy duty stuff, but it's good stuff.
Metaphorical personal trainer kicking you out of bed in the morning, effectively, isn't it? You think, well, it's obviously having some benefit. We need to keep it going.
So, just like in my head, so out of general interest, so is it several hours a week? Is there expectation that you'll do it consecutively for 8 weeks to get the most benefit out of it?
Yeah.
And also, just to keep you on your toes there, do you find it attracts people that are looking for that stress management, anxiety, depression, or just people that want to feel a bit more enlightened, a bit more like what we've been chatting about before, a bit more self-aware? And
I think it's both, but I think so. You're right. Actually, you've hit the nail on the head. So it's not just the session you come to on the Tuesday evenings, but you're expected, and you have a one-to-one before the program starts, and that orientation session lays it out really that you're expected to do half an hour a day, as well as that.
Right.
I mean, at the end of the day, if people don't do it, we're not going to stop them from coming to the session.
No, but if you wanted the maximum output.
The maximum you get. And so we're crystal clear, because I used to, before we started doing those courses, I used to say, just do what you can. And some of the courses are like that, sort of, and it's sometimes people need that like more softer approach initially, but this one, like I say, is more intense, so you're very much encouraged to do that. And then why they come, so it's all different, but some people have a real, so there's element of depression or melancholy, sort of ongoing, or something from the past, so that people can come with that from that side, or anxiety, just ongoing day-to-day anxiety, or like even really difficult anxiety. So there's that, but you do also get people just saying, well, Howie, the time has come to I'll give myself a pause here. I'll encourage myself, like the personal trainer aspect, really, and put a little bit of graft. And when you come and sit on the cushion, it isn't really graft, but it sort of is,
the commitment.
Commitment.
Yeah.
Commitment is the word. So it's both. And also you do get people who think, like, what else is out there, like on the spirituality thing. So even though it's not a religion, you say, well, yeah, but is this it, And it's not that you'll find answers to that with our courses by any means, but on the other hand, people sometimes can relate it to their own religion. But it's not, what's the word? It's secular. I think I always get mixed up with, is secular is religious, or is it non-secular?
It's like philosophy based, isn't it? Really?
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah,
but
philosophy.
Like obviously,
practice.
my childish brain wants to make a few jokes about Tibetan monks and hugging trees and shaving heads and things like that. But no, I genuinely think it's a positive step for the future. Really, I think it's great that it's getting into schools. I'm listening intently because I think I might do that. So I've sort of dipped me toe, haven't I? I'm dipping me toe every now and again. I'll have a strum on the guitar. I'll go for a bit of a walk. I've listened to your session a few times via my WhatsApp. But yeah, I suppose the course is like the equivalent of me dipping me toe and then jumping in the pool. It would be the course, wouldn't it, really?
Yeah, well, it's a bit like what you were saying about retreat. You wouldn't do even a week or a couple of weeks until you'd maybe done a half day or a day, you know, to build up to it. And in the same way, I think it is better if even if you've just dabbled and tried things out a little bit before this particular one anyway, before the MBSR. So yeah. I mean, we can definitely talk about that, Liam, if you'd like to.
Yeah.
Consider
Like,
it anyway.
I don't want to dive in there because it'd be like picking up the biggest dumbbell in the gym. Do you know what I mean? It's it's not going to be sustainable. I haven't been in the gym for many moons.
Yeah.
So
No,
I'd
absolutely.
be going straight in there. But I would like to make that commitment to incorporate it, be a bit more mindful, pun intended, to be more consistent with it, because it's a bit sketchy. Like I'm getting me buzz on various levels with the guitar, with the kind of playing with the dog, going on walks, things like that. So yeah, I'd like to. Has it piqued your interest, Gav, at all?
It certainly has. It's something that I do need to explore, and it's something that I think I'll definitely find beneficial. I'll be honest, I've sat here and just listened to you talk a lot of the time, Joe, and I'm actually quite relaxed just sitting listening to you talk.
Oh, great.
Just hearing, you know, how it's obviously beneficial, and I will say as well,
Jedi.
what he is the mind trick's working, isn't it? But I will say Liam as well. I mean, I've known Liam now for 25, 26 years, and apart from Oasis, I've never heard Liam talk as passionately about something over the last few months, especially, you know, he's got into this, he's done his qualification as well. He's very keen to get into that sort of realm of work. But with mindfulness and what we've been talking about today, Liam does talk very passionately about it. I've found as well, personally, talking to Liam, we've had various conversations about setting up the podcasts and other things and meetings. Listening to Liam's actually quite a relaxing experience now. Not that I'm saying it never was before, Liam.
Just tell me why for that.
But it absolutely is. It actually helps. It's helped me a few times in the last couple of weeks put certain things into focus. So it's obviously having an impact on Liam. And I think if it's had an impact on Liam, I'm sure it would have a very similar impact on me.
Oh, it's nice of you to say, nice of you to say. But yeah, an ex-colleague said to me, like, oh, do you think you'll incorporate that into what you go forward with in terms of therapy or whatever it is? But I'm just totally 50-50 with it. That's where I'm at with it. I feel like I'm just doing it for my own gains at the moment.
But is that not part of it? Is that not part of what you should be doing?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
You know?
Yeah. Like I'm just doing it for. I haven't got my eye on the future or the past. I'm just in the moment with it, and but no, I could listen to Joe all day. Like,
well, the people who know you and love you best, you know, have obviously seen the benefit. So
possibly, yeah, possibly. I mean, when I was running and I was doing the guitar, they sort of saved me life during lockdown. Like, they were the catalyst for keeping me on the straight and narrow.
yeah.
So I was probably dipping my toe in being mindful, but I just didn't know it at the time. Sometimes I can just be strumming the guitar and I'll just be away for an hour, and I've literally just broke down like the machine, like your brain's a machine, and I've literally got a couple of thoughts in my head, like I'm doing a chord change, I'm singing a melody, I might be writing the odd lyric down, and that's all that's going on. So it just declutters my mind.
Yeah.
But no, I need to read this book, don't I? I need to get
Yeah, I would say it's a great way to. Loads and loads of people have read from my recommendation, and everybody gets something about it. Within the book, you get an 8-week program that I took myself through initially. And then when I was at work, they put us on a training course, like a day's training course. And then I started putting groups on and to do the 8-week course. And then said, oh, well, there's something in this. So they put us on the mindfulness teacher training thing. But, and then, you know, it's been known, as I said, for years. But initially, if it wasn't for that book, I don't know, I might have come through it some other way. I don't know, but I've got a lot to thank those authors for, I tell you. And not just for what I do with my work, because I'm lucky to be involved with this, and I meet really nice people like yourselves. But for me own benefits, I don't know how I would have been without being able to bring calm in on a regular basis into my life, you know, and better for me as a dad, as a hopefully anyway, as a husband, hopefully, and as a mate, or, hopefully, and you don't want to presume things, but I think it's made me maybe easier. Just have an easier way with life, I feel quite easeful a lot of the time.
Has that effect on other people around you as well, doesn't it? I suppose if they see somebody who's usually, from a personal point of view, I'm usually frantically running around doing quite a lot of things. And I think if somebody sees you looking after yourself a bit more, and sees you as a lot more of a calm person, or a person who's happy just to sit and listen, I think it does have that effect on the people around you as well. It helps them then become a little bit more mindful and maybe think twice about piling some more work on you or asking you to do a certain thing if it's having a negative effect. Having a positive effect on, as you say, your wife or your children or your friends or people you work with.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, no,
I can imagine it, like when you're slowing down and
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of gratitude for. Do you feel like it cultivates gratitude?
Yeah. I mean, gratitude is one of the attitudes. This is going to sound a bit off the wall a little bit. I don't know if it's all right.
Go for it.
Right. So awareness, right? So how big's awareness? Is it
Infinite, isn't it?
Well, yeah, that's right. But when you start, you say, well, how do you measure that? Have you got a measuring tape, or like, is it 6 foot? Is it? And then you say, well, it's definitely as big as this room, because I can imagine this room. You say, hang on a minute, but does it go as far as the sky? And then, oh yeah, you imagine the sky, and then the oceans, and then, like you said, like the universe and all the different stars in the sky. So, like, hang on, I'll get this right. Is your awareness in the room, or is the room in your awareness?
Is the awareness in your room, or is the
Yeah,
room in your
that makes sense.
Yeah,
that makes sense.
That sort of thing.
That's twisted me melon. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, you're aware of you're obviously aware of the room. I mean, this is my take on it.
I'm probably heading down the wrong track here, but this is not like it's an old Gallagher lick. It's are you watching the TV, or is the TV watching you?
Wow.
Well, maybe
same thing applies, doesn't it?
Same
thing applies.
You have to think about that.
Give me that again, because that.
All right. So
I'm not the brightest star in the sky, am I? Let's be honest.
So, just as bright as me. Is your awareness in the room at the moment? Is your awareness in the room, or is the room in your awareness?
Take a moment to think about that, Liam.
And there's no really right answer.
There isn't, is there?
There's no really right answer.
These are not the droids you're looking for, are they?
Is it not Schrodinger's cat? You put a cat in a box. Is the cat alive or is it
No, I
dead?
get
Well,
it.
it's both until you open the box, isn't it? That sort of thing.
I get it. It's a deep one, isn't it?
It's a deep one. But what made us think was all the gratitude and all these benevolent things, like attitudes and ways of being that you can bring in, and you can make a difference with your neuroplasticity just by practicing them. Like if you notice that awareness doesn't have any preferences, so you can be aware of really bad things, you can be aware of really good things, or everything in between, but it's still awareness. So when you're aware, so everything comes and goes. So it'll come and go. So sounds will come and go, thoughts will come and go, sensations will come and go. But they don't define us. They don't define you or me, or anybody else for that matter.
There's no GPS, and there's no GPS on them, and there's no the transitional, aren't there?
Yeah, very much. Thanks, Liam, because I was getting a bit stuck there. So you helped us out. Thank you. But what I was trying to say is that, going back to what I was saying, it's not neutral. Then it's because you can relate to things in different ways. Then when you realise that, like, you've got a really annoyed, like an irritated thought about somebody who's cut you up when you're driving your car, or hasn't signalled or something, and you think, for God's sake, I mean, I've had one earlier today, but and then you know, to say, well, that's just a thought. Not talking about what other people's actions or behaviour. That's another thing. But like my reaction, it's a thought. It's anger. So there's anger, but it's not
there's no negative or positive intent. It is what it is.
Yeah, things arise. That's right. Everything's appearing, and then everything is disappearing.
I love it.
Yeah. Do you know? Do you? I don't know. Do you find, Joe, as well, since you've been involved in all of this, and obviously I know you've been doing it for quite a long time, but you just give that example there of, you know, you're driving down, somebody cuts you up, or somebody doesn't indicate, or whatever it may be, and you have that in like 2 or 3 seconds of what you're doing, or you have that anger. Do you think that doing what you do now has sort of lessened those sort of angry instances or angry thoughts or outbursts in your own life?
Yeah, definitely. Not the instances, because if anything, I think there's
a lot
more rage on the road, at least
Yeah.
is for that. But yeah, it really has. It's given us an alternative, I would say, that, yeah, over the years, I mean, I've like shit me fist and even used 1 or 2 naughty words,
Yeah.
believe it or not. And but now what I do is when you remember, because part of this is remember to say, hang on a minute, it's just literally is a pause. So you pause and you recognise, and there's something, and it might be the tightening in the face or the heartbeats, classic, like your heartbeats going, and I can feel myself wanting to shout or whatever, and you notice, and it's that space really. It's the little bit. It might just be a sliver of a space, like a second, a mini second, and you say, "All right, no, I'll just let it go." Like, what good is it doing? Really, you know.
Yeah,
But
it's like, yeah. I certainly don't do it the way you've described it there, which I love the way you described it there. But yeah, it's kind of like, what company do you want to keep? You know, you're going to be with yourself more than anyone else for the rest of your life. What company do you want to keep when you're in that moment? If I'd love to be able to kind of cultivate that real time awareness a bit more. I try to. I try to stay curious. You're quite curious there, aren't you, when you're talking about that situation, like a situation you may be in. Like, what is this telling us? Is this either good or bad? Is it indifferent? Is it just something that's going to pass? Or is it just none of these things? It reminds me of the Bruce Lee quote where he says, like, find the where is nowhere. The style is no style. It'd be like the nature of water. Fits into the teacup. It becomes the teacup. It fits into the glass. It becomes the glass. It's always flowing. It's never.
Yeah, and just because you've made us think there, it follows the path of least resistance. I only heard that last week, and it's just following what you were saying, Liam.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's been fascinating. It's definitely given me an insight into that, and I think it's now something I want to explore for myself. I think from our Facebook page and all of this sort of thing that we do, we've got to publicise what Joe's doing, and obviously we'll share the stuff that you put online. If anybody is interested and wants to sign up, or even just find out a little bit more about it, or help themselves become more mindful, more relaxed, more at peace with themselves, in this frantic world we live in.
Nice one.
Yeah.
Cheers, chaps. Really enjoyed it. Hopefully we can do it again.
Absolutely.
Well, I'd love to be invited back on. I've really enjoyed myself.
I've really enjoyed it. It's like it's piqued my interest, 100%.
Yeah. Well, we'll definitely get you back on. We'll definitely get you back on, and hopefully, next time, if we're not camera shy, we can get it to record it, and we can have somebody actually see what we look like here rather than just listening to our voices. But no, Joe, it's been brilliant having you here, and thanks very much for taking the time to come and speak to us about what you do. I know Liam was very, very keen for me to meet you, and it's happened very, very quickly. But we'll go into a bit more detail on maybe the individual courses that you do, or the individual topics around mindfulness.
Yeah, we'll put some links up.
Yep.
But no, it's and don't get us wrong, everyone's welcome, all ages, all genders, all sizes, etc. But yeah, if we can turn on a few of the men to go, all right,
Yeah.
it's all good.
If we change one person's mind, it's worked, hasn't it? It's done its job.
Thank you very much.
Thanks again, Joe.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Nice one.
Cheers. Thanks for listening, everybody.